And how did you meet each other? How did this project start? At what time?
Shall I say the story or you tell it?
You can say
I
the
will give
story.
you the microphone so
Yes.
you can give your...
Through music, actually. I was DJing in my youth back then. As the Acropolis has been built. No, not that long, but still more than 10 years ago. And I was DJing in a club, and it was a nice place, like everybody was coming there. I was playing like this kind of music, new wave, dark wave, minimal synth, etc. And he was also sound engineer back then, working with bands. And then I organized a small live show, and he was invited to do the sound of the band. And this is how we met, actually. Yeah.
And how did you decide to create a project together? Because being a DJ is not the
Yes.
same like...
Of course, it's not the same, yeah.
We had so many things in common in music, and one day I had a small I was playing before some years ago when I was very, very young in punk bands, in metal bands, and when I met Joanna, I told her that it would be a nice idea at least to experiment in music together just for fun. And that's
yeah,
how
it was
it
also
started.
very helpful that we have, that he's collecting synthesizers.
Yeah.
And we have the machines at home, so we could
Yeah.
play at any time, you know, and it was very easy.
What kind of machines did you have at that time?
At that time, we had the Voyager. Huh?
We had many. Imagine it was at least 2 rooms full of synthesizers, but the most we used back then it was a Moog Voyager, as Joanna said, a Roland SH-101. This used a lot. A string machine from Roland. 2 old drum machines from Korg and Roland, again very old from the 80s. This was the basic equipment we were using.
Back then, yeah.
Yes.
Back then, this is the same kind of synthesizer you used for the first albums?
Yeah.
This is what we used in the first albums, yes, but every time we were changing, and it was started as a fun, but the things became more...
We're exploring it.
Yes,
Still.
yes, we're still
it never
exploring it,
ends.
but now I think we know what we need from the equipment and what we want to use. So in the last 2 albums we are using the same equipment, and I think we will stay on this.
We are still discovering our musical
techniques. We are
path.
checking also. It was not only the equipment you have, is also to try to find different techniques of recordings, and usually we are making the recordings we are doing is like back then. We don't use so much new equipment, and we are trying to have techniques they were using back then. For example, we are using gated reverbs. We are triggering with the gate drums and bass to be more danceable. Things like this. So it's enjoyable to do this stuff.
This is very interesting because you say that at the beginning there was a lot of exploring to try to find your own sound.
Yeah.
Even if, as you say, like music never stop exploring. That's normal. But I think since the first album to the last album, I can feel like you hear a song and you say this is Selofan.
Yes.
Like the voice and the synthesizer and the male voice also. So how do you create this? How did you decide, for example, that it's gonna be for you this kind of voice? Because it's a very special voice. It's not like very singing melodic, like even in goth and in music in general. We attempt to a girl to try to sing very melodic and very symphonic, and then you arrive with this voice that is very special. How do you work with this voice? And why did you decide to make this kind of 2 voices that are not very singing, but they are? I don't even know how to describe them, but that's very something that I really like about Selofan. Is the kind of singing that is singing but is not singing at the same time. How do you work your voice?
I think it's physical.
It's natural. Okay, I have also this background that I was loving these 80s German
Yes.
bands like Malaria, all
Yes.
these women singing, so baritone, etc.
Yes.
But
Yes.
ex-Maldosanos. But still, it's also the fact that I am not a trained singer,
Yeah.
so it's kind of easier also. I'm still discovering my voice, actually. Lately, I'm experimenting with. I'm trying to sing more, to be more melodic at least at some point.
But
And
not so much. Yes.
yeah,
I don't like
the-
so much melodic.